Hey, everybody. Welcome to Code Sandwich Hour, a certified fresh event where we talk code and sandwiches, and we do it all in about an hour or less than an hour this week, probably. Before we get started, a quick word to all you viewers and listeners out there that this show is going to follow a slightly different format than earlier episodes in season one. So the individual and punny segments that we have been doing, they were really fun, but they were structured in such a way that it was leading to shows that were getting a little too long. So rather than, get better at hosting, I'm just throwing out the whole format and trying something new. But no, really, the show is still very new. We're in season one, so we're kind of quickly evolving, testing things to make sure that we can present a format and a show that is great for our guests and also for you, the audience. So today we'll have no segments. Sort of. The former third segment, where the so-called hot seat segment, where we were doing lots of quick questions and answers, we're producing a lot of really, really fun responses. So I want to keep that in place. So after about 30 minutes or so, we're going to shift into this speed round and explore a few final questions before we end and wrap the episode. And of course, we're going to start with the most important topic first, as always. So with that, let's get into the show. This week's special guest is Gift Egwuenu. She's a developer advocate for Cloudflare. See if I can get that right. Welcome to the show, Gift.
Thank you so much, Sean, for having me. Really excited to be on the show. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have this conversation as well. And so let's start with, the most important question first. What is the best sandwich?
Okay, I came prepared. I would say my best for now is the tuna salad sandwich. And this is very opinionated because folks that have tried it don't like it. At least people that I have, put on to try it, they don't end up liking it. But I like it a lot. And for me, that's like the easy go-to sandwich right now for like when I'm out and I need to grab something quick, I'll choose that over any other. And not to bash anyone, but I feel like peanut butter and jelly is also good, but I'm like 50-50 on that. So I tried it once and it was nice, and I tried it again and I was like, no, this is crap. So I'm like where so I would say, okay, that's my second one after the tuna salad. Yeah.
Okay. Let's I have so many questions. So you said you've tried you've only tried peanut butter and jelly twice, yeah?
Just twice. Yeah.
Okay. So is it where was it something you made, or did you come across it in a restaurant?
Actually, no. So I was with a friend in the US and she was raving about it. I'm like, okay, make one for me. And maybe because of the vibe she had, and she's like, Gift, you need to try this. It's super nice. And I tried it and I was like, okay, nice. Then I go home and I made it myself and I was like, no, what did you do to I don't know. I don't know. So maybe I did. I honestly don't know that there is a wrong way to make it. It's just you get bread. You add the peanut butter and then you add the jelly, right? Maybe I got like not the best brands, I guess.
It could
Maybe
be that.
maybe.
I don't know.
I tried it.
There was we had a guest on a couple episodes ago who said that the best sandwich is a sandwich that's made by somebody else. So maybe it was partially that too. Somebody else made the first peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah. I probably would agree with that. Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Okay, and on the tuna, so I think you're the second or maybe third person this season to say tuna sandwich, and I know they tend to be fairly popular. Well, I shouldn't say popular. I should say probably polarizing, where people tend to either love them or hate them. And I'm someone who just didn't grow up with tuna salad, so I feel like after people are saying these are their favorite sandwiches, I'm like, ooh, I need to try this now. Yes.
Interesting for me because mine is like a little bit recent. So I moved to the Netherlands like 2 years ago, and that's a period when I've found that I liked it. Right before now, what I'm used to I should call this sandwich. It's close to sandwich. It's toast bread. Like that's what I grew up with. So it's basically toasted breads, and then you have sardines, eggs inside of it, and then you eat that with like hot chocolate or tea or any of
Oh,
that.
wow.
So that is like what I grew up eating, and that's what I call sandwich. But I've not had that in like a while. So this is now my new best sandwich. Yeah.
Okay, so do you is this tuna salad sandwich, is this one that you make and you've got like you've got it down, you love it, or do you have a specific place that you go to, or a place, even a store that you have to source the tuna from?
Yeah, I buy it already made mostly. And it's from like the local grocery store here. It's called Albert Heijn. Albert Heijn. I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, I think that the first time I tried it, I was at work and I needed to grab lunch, and I went to the store and I just grabbed this thing. I didn't even know what it was. I just grabbed it, but I had like a bite and it was really good. So since then, if I'm out and I need to eat something, that's my go-to, breakfast or quick meal. And yeah, I'm not a very, so I tend to go for like, if I'm eating food spicy. So when I'm eating sandwich, it's probably because I'm out, not when I'm in my house, right? Because I end up making
Okay.
my own meals. So I think of sandwich as a quick meal, or maybe I'm eating at a restaurant and they have that option, then I order it. Yeah.
That makes sense. I also love that your answer to the best sandwich came from just blindly grabbing one. Like, I don't know what this is, but then that's the best thing ever. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's nice.
Okay, so yeah, this is great. And now I'm super motivated. I feel like you pushed me over the edge too. It's time to try some tuna salad. So I'm gonna do that. Yeah, maybe later today. But for now, yeah, let's get into a little bit of technology. So I came across that you're working on or involved with this thing called Master School, and so I was hoping we could start there, and you tell me a little bit more about Master School. And I really don't know anything about it, so maybe start
Okay.
with what is the concept there? What do they do?
Yeah, sure. So Master School is a program that is mostly helping new developers or people interested in getting into tech to get like their first job by going through like a period of training. So like your typical boot camp, but this is online, right? And you
Okay.
can join from anywhere. So the concept of it being a master school is that they have different schools. So they have like a web development school, a data analyst school. I think there are more, but these are the two that comes to mind. And I am a master here. I don't like I don't know when I say master, it's like master is like a mentor, right? So it's like
Mhm,
you
mhm.
have like this cohort of a group of 20 people trying to get into web development, and I'm a mentor for that school, right? So I have like a school of web development at master school, and my cohort starts in October. But I have the reason why I'm doing this is because for the longest time, I've had like a very big passion for helping mostly developers get into industry, right? And when I spoke to the folks at Master School and they told me about their goal, the goal is that they are looking to train more people, help them land jobs and all of that. I felt like this is closely aligned to my own personal, goal of helping people bridge the gap, people that are interested in moving from different fields or careers to getting into tech. And it's also like, so my role there is a curriculum, right? They have all of that stuff, but they're adding the additional touch of having a, experienced person show them the way while they are going through that path. So every week when I start, I would have like 2 sessions with the students to walk them through, for example, um, technical problems that they are having, or just give them like one-on-one sessions to go through questions that they have. Because most of the time when people are this first year or first 6 months trying to get into tech, it's a very difficult process, right, to go through that. But if they have like one go-to person that they could ask questions to, and this is something I do literally every day, right? Because I have different outlets for people to reach out to me based on that, trying to get into tech. So this is just like another additional medium for me to continue helping people. So yeah, that's what master school is about. Yeah.
Interesting. So the students that are in your cohort, they have are most of them? Well, I guess you're not starting till October, but do you think that most of them come with essentially no experience?
Yeah, I would say 90% of them probably have no experience. Like they're trying to, maybe some of them have done, because I've spoken to a few people that are interested. And the thing I'm seeing a lot is some people are already learning, but they're very confused. Like they don't know what direction to go to, and they feel like going through. So maybe a few people have done like a little bit high level learning of HTML, CSS before coming in. So they're not like, this is new to me, right? So maybe a few people are like that, and others are just like play straight off, just coming in for the first time learning this stuff. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. And do you have to create all of the curriculum, or are you following something that's already been created?
Yeah, so every school, so it's not just my school running. Simultaneously, they have like 4 to 5 or 6 web development schools, and all of them have to. They're using the same curriculum. So the school, in this case,
Okay.
master school, already has a curriculum, but my role there is to help mentor them to go through. So questions that they have, helping them, unblock from, if they have any issues throughout the process of the duration, because it's like 7 months, and they have like an acceleration program towards the end to help them prepare for their CV, application interviews, and all of that towards the end of the program. So in total, that's 10 months. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So the goal is to actually place them in a job similar to what
Yeah.
a boot camp
Boot
would do.
camp. Yeah, exactly.
Interesting. Okay. And so then you're doing, you said all of the teaching is remote. So you're facilitating all of this like through Zoom or something like that?
Yeah, it will be through Zoom. I'm assuming, because I've not started, but I'm sure it will be through Zoom. There's also going to be like a one-on-one session to pair programming slash just having peer-to-peer conversations within the people in my school. So I'll have like a Calendly with available times that people could book. So regardless of the one session we have per week, you can also just chat with me. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Oh, and so this is going to be, I don't know, that seems like such a cool way to go about teaching folks, because I think, I mean, I know boot camps are a popular thing, that a popular concept that are out there and ways for people to break into tech. But yeah, when I think about teaching, like there's so many courses that are more like, I'm going to record this and I'm not necessarily working one-on-one with people. So that's going to be cool. You'll get like, I imagine pretty close with all 20 of those folks.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it, because also I feel like it's something that is missing. That's personal touch of having like someone you can go to ask questions, and I'm very happy that I have that you know small community of people I can help, because I think when it dawns on me that this is actually very good is when I start hearing people get jobs, right? Which is the end goal. So just going through the process is going to be a new experience for me, definitely, because it's the first time I'm doing something like this. But I'm definitely rooting for the folks that will be in my school and just seeing how they, advance from doing the program to getting jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be super interesting. I'm like, all right, yeah, let's do this show again in a year, and we'll talk about
And see, right?
some scrollers. Yes. Okay, so and
Oh,
speaking of teaching, so I mentioned that seeing a lot of recorded videos. I also came across a course you did on Nuxt.js. I think released less than a month ago
last
or
one.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, Well, first of all, unrelated to that, I noticed that you released it on LinkedIn, and I didn't even know that was a thing. So how did you come across the LinkedIn
Oh,
courses?
interesting story there. I've known about LinkedIn Learning for like a period of 2 years, I would say, because I'm part of this program by Microsoft MVP, and you get like one of the perks is you get access to all LinkedIn features, including LinkedIn Learning. And that was when I first found the platform. And I would liken it to Heged, but Heged has like more shorter, succinct courses. And
Mhm.
a goal of mine has always been to like go one step further from making YouTube videos to creating a course. And I explored the idea of doing it by myself around last year, but I thought that it wasn't achievable. So I just, when you have a thought and you're like, maybe I should try doing this thing, and
Yep,
something just
yep.
tells you like, maybe you shouldn't, and I just kept floating. But I definitely knew I wanted to try my hands at doing courses. I first of all got reached out from the folks at Egged, and this was way early, right? I was like 3 years into my career, and there was the
Mhm.
imposter syndrome saying, can you actually do this? Can you actually do this gift? And I went through the initial process of doing the test, sample video, sent it. But when it was time to start recording, I gave up. And I'm very angry about that for myself, but I still tried different things regardless. And funny story, I'm going to be making another course in a few months there, so it's fine. But I found LinkedIn through another program that I'm part of. It's called Github Stars, right? And
Okay.
it's another kind of um, developer expert programs by one of those big companies, just trying to encourage folks in the community doing like teaching, blogging, open source work, and all of that. And someone reached out to me via email from LinkedIn Learning asking me to do a course on GitHub. I think they thought I worked at GitHub, maybe. But I think so, because they're like, hey, would you like to do a GitHub enterprise course on LinkedIn Learning? I was like, well, I'm not sure I can do that because I don't even, do stuff with GitHub Enterprise. But I pitched back and I'm like, but can I do something with Nox? Because that's what I know and that's what I use. And they were like, oh, fine, let's get on a call. And from that, we had a first call and they liked it. And this is interesting because they don't have a Nox content on their platform. So they were like, okay, fine. Platforms like this usually ask you to do a sample video, right? And then I did that, and then they approved it, and that's how I got to recording and have the course published after like 6 months. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
so it
it's
it took like 6 months to put together?
yeah, because in between I was moving, in between there were like times when yes, it was a long process, but at least getting to the point where they published it and I saw it live. And that was when it just felt like, okay, I put in a lot of work into this thing and it's actually, out there. So it's cool.
Yeah, which must feel good because I think that I think a lot of folks, me included, even though I create content, it's like it's so easy to um, kind of undervalue the work that has to go into something like that. Like it's about an hour and a half of video, and it seems like um, okay, like this how so it takes an hour and a half to put together. And it's like no, months of like
No.
I've got to create the whole course, I've got to test it, and then you change something in the middle, and then it's like okay, now I gotta change the whole thing and
Yeah,
re-record
and
and
videos are more difficult, right? Because I mean, I
Mhm.
learned a lot of stuff throughout the process, even for my own personal videos that I make. But it's way difficult. Like you have to think about video, audio quality is super important. You make like one mistake, you have to re-record. All of that stuff. But yeah, it was a very good learning process, specifically because this is something I want to do more of, like exploring to do more courses in the future. So this is like a good entry point into, course making, I would say. Yeah.
So one thing that I've thought about a lot is the, the difference between building something and then publishing it in your own space versus working with some sort of established program or pattern, knowing like the risk and the reward on in my space might be larger. But yeah, I don't know. I've thought a lot about the difference between the two. So what can you say that you've found to be beneficial in doing, GitHub Stars, Microsoft MVP, LinkedIn courses to attach yourself to these brands and these platforms that already exist versus trying to throw it on your website?
Sure, I can speak to that because I've done personal research to do like self-publish first before going through platforms like this. I think the one thing that is very prominent why people do it, of course, the bigger corps than to do on your own is just having a platform first. Like you go on LinkedIn and they also have a subscription model. Maybe I should speak about pricing later, but the first thing you think about is, do I have a platform or do I have a community of people that would eventually get to, watch this course when I finally publish it? And how much marketing do I need to invest to get, because it's not just you recording something and putting it out there. You still need to do most of so you're basically the video creator, the editor, you're essentially the marketing person, you're everything in one, right? If you're doing it on your own. But if you go with platforms that are established, most of the work is taken away from you. For example, I'll speak to LinkedIn. LinkedIn does the editing and they really help you with scripting. So the process follows, you give them the idea, you do like a test video, then you create an outline. After an outline, you script it. And in between this process, there's always someone reviewing the stuff that you're doing, right? To get it very polished. Scripting, after scripting, you start recording, then that's where your work ends, at least for that time. Then they take it to their editors. They come back to you if there's like anything in between. And then after that, that's pretty much your, workload during the process. So you script and you record. If I was doing that on my own, then I have to do everything. Sometimes I don't even have like a streamlined process. Like sometimes you just be like, oh, I'll just try doing this thing. Maybe just record one video and see how it goes without having scripts for it, because you're doing it by yourself and probably you've not done it before. It's different for people that are independent course creators that have done it years over years, and they have like lots of learnings and experience from it. But if it's your first time, you definitely make a lot of mistakes. But going through like platforms like that are specifically for things like this, they currently have like, instructors that are instructor trainers or course producers. I'm just thinking of the name. Course producers, and those are very experienced people that have been doing this for years. So they work with you hand in hand, and that's the first thing. The second thing is, of course, the platform itself. So when it's published, there are already people using it. Like they are not essentially buying your course; they have a subscription with the platform, and they can watch your course, which is nice. And that's when I talk about pricing. Yeah, it's very difficult because eventually if you make it yourself, you have to think about how much should I price this? How much is this
right?
worth?
Yes, exactly.
It's a lot, right? So you still have to deal with like all the accounting stuff, right? I don't think you have to with all this platform because it's like you make an agreement with them based off of, after, I think they follow most likely the YouTube payment system where someone watches, you get paid, someone watches, you get paid, something like that. Yeah, I think it's, for the first time going through that is easier. Maybe if you've done it a few years and you're like, maybe I can do this by myself, then it's okay to do it on your own. But I find that this was really helpful. Even though it took a lot of work, I feel like if I had done it by myself, in between, I probably would have just said, well, I'm not doing this again, or I'll do it in like a few months. But this, you had to work with like timeline to get it published. So it was really helpful. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's a great summary of the comparison there. And yeah, you mentioned pricing, and that was something that I've thought about as well. Is i- I've felt like, at least in some, I've been approached by some platforms to create a course, and they're typically less established platforms, and so that probably changes it a little bit. But I have found that the pricing model wasn't, I felt like it was undervalued. Like it was more of a
Mhm.
flat fee, and it wasn't going to cover
Yeah.
like reasonably the time that I knew I would have to spend. But it sounds like the LinkedIn model is a little bit different, that there's really no ceiling. If your course grows in popularity, that you make more money. Is that right?
Yeah, actually, I'm forgetting now. There is like the initial payments, and then after that, you get like forgetting what YouTube calls it, but the watch. Anyway, you watch, and for the time you watch, you get paid. I've forgotten what that model is called, but
Okay.
that's
Okay.
they also have that in place. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we have a few more minutes, and so I think that's a good transition to talk a little bit about YouTube. So, something I asked you before we went live is the thing that I've always struggled with, which is this. There are so many topics that we can cover. How do we focus on, or how to even just get over that failure to launch and start putting stuff out there? And I know you're doing some live stuff and some recorded stuff all on YouTube. So how do you think about, what's your strategy for planning content?
Okay, I've done mine based on a lot of try and fails, like trials, right? I really don't think that I have like one good, strategy for how to do YouTube right. Because it's YouTube is a lot of work first. That's the first thing I would say.
Hmm.
It's
Hmm.
lots of work, specifically it well depends on the kind of videos that you're making. So for my videos, I have two tangents. So I talk about tech and also like the personal like lifestyle. So my personality as a developer, right? And I also talk about career, like how to get into tech, helping folks get into tech and all of that. When I first started, it was fine. Actually, the reason why I started YouTube in the first place was because I had a blog and it was doing really well. And I thought, why not try to make videos out of the blog posts that I've written? Because I find that most people probably enjoy watching videos more than reading long articles. So that was the first reason why I went with YouTube. But then I decided to expand and do more stuff. And starting off, I did more like if I have like a presentation or something, I'll just publish it. So I didn't start with an actual video. I just went off with like the previous conference talk that I'd done. I downloaded it from the conference website and uploaded it as my first video. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, that's my first video. What next? And then I did like a couple of so the articles that I've written, I just made that into YouTube videos and then I published it, right? I remember doing one on Jamstack and one on Stack Beats, I'm very Stack Beats. It's like a
Oh,
Jamstack.
yeah. This is where I work. Yes.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah, that was like 3 years ago, I guess, but I did
Yeah.
that.
Very, very different now, but yes,
Yeah,
yes.
I did that too. And then I decided to try doing like, apart from doing tutorial, then I decided to start doing lifestyle. So talking about I'm a developer, right? This is a day in my life working in a company, right? I did that video once and it did really well. And then that was when I was set in this confusion state, right? I initially said this is what I want to do, but then I was seeing people saying, Gift, we want a CSS tutorial. And the other person's like, and I'm also saying that I want this. So I was a bit, all over the place with what I really wanted to do, even though I had already said that these are the three things I want to focus on. And then I found myself just like, maybe for like a few months, do more of one than the other, because until I think I watched this person's YouTube channel, Ali Abdal. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
know if you know him, but
I
he's
don't think
really
so.
good. Okay. And then I remember just seeing him talking about his process for, making YouTube content. And he has like a streamlined YouTube video, what's it called? Notion templates or whatever that is. And then I use that, and that helped me a lot with planning content and just putting in ideas. So right now I have like ideas upon ideas of what I would like to do, but I don't move it to planning until I'm sure that this is what I really want to make. And that's what I've been using for a few years now. So I'm fine with doing like these three areas that I mentioned. I don't personally pressure myself to do like tutorial videos before doing like a vlog or something. I just go with the flow, right? Anything that is sparks joy for me at the point in time, that's what I would do. And I think in February, I had tried this before, but I wanted to do it again, live streams,
Mhm.
right? I think that it's nice to just make videos and post, but I also want to talk to people, right? So I thought, why not just, because I've done it twice before, but I didn't keep up. So I said, why not just start another series where I'm like talking to different people weekly and see how that goes. So tying in the usual content that I post bi-weekly or weekly, depending on how much schedule I have, to like doing more, consistent weekly streams, right? So I started doing that in February, I think. And I've tried to do it every week except when I'm traveling. So that specifically gives me more joy, because the point is, I think you're also using StreamYard. I use StreamYard. The moment I
Mhm.
end the live, it gets uploaded as a video, and that takes out, so much work from, personally, I spend like hours editing videos. Like the last video I uploaded took me like 4 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah. So I'm not even accounting for the recording time, the time it takes for you to think of the idea. But if you do like live stream, it's way more easier. You just need to go live and speak, and that takes away a lot of the work from me. So right now I'm just fine with doing this different things, and it works for me. Yeah.
Have you found that your viewers don't really tend to care about the amount of polish on your video, or do you get more views on the edited videos?
I think I've done that. Recently, I did a poll to just ask what people are feeling, but I've also like checked analytics to see what people are thinking about, like the kind of stuff I'm putting out. So first, I've seen people enjoy the chats when I'm there talking to other people, but people are also asking for a lot of like actual day in the live videos, which is more interesting, I would expect,
Interesting.
but it's also like more work, because I've tried doing it. I've tried doing it a couple of times, and oh my god, I always tell myself I'm not doing this anymore, because it's like you do it for a couple of days. The ones that I've tried doing, I think I did a week. So it's like you're filming the entire week, and at the end you have like almost 100 footage that you have
Yeah.
to. It's not, I mean, when I finalize the editing and everything, and it's like 10 minutes video, and I publish it, and people are like, oh wow, that was cool, but it took me hours, to film. So I don't really do that often, but I definitely thumbs up to people that do it weekly, because I watch developer videos, content from other developers that do weekly vlogs, and I don't think I can do it. But I think more people are interested in that kind of stuff, which is, it makes sense, because it's entertaining as well as knowledge sharing in a way,
Mhm.
because you talk about, hey, this is what I'm doing for the week. I'm probably working now. I work as a developer advocate, but before I used to work as a front end developer consultant, and doing this kind of videos, I would show like, this is what I'm building, this is what I'm doing. So I think it's fun for people to actually see the person behind, see the personality, I think. So yeah, but it's a lot of work.
Yes, yes. That's a great point though. You just like, so it sounds a lot like, don't put pressure, like minimize the friction, don't put pressure on the schedule, the editing process, just like, and let your personality come through.
Yeah.
That's great advice. Okay, well, so now I'm gonna go try a tuna fish or tuna salad sandwich and start putting stuff on YouTube. I'm super motivated by
You
this.
should. Yeah, it's a nice platform. Yeah.
All right, great. So we're at a perfect time to transition into our I don't know what we're going to call it, our speed round. I've got a list of 5 questions, and it should be pretty quick, and
Okay.
hopefully produce some quick answers. So, and oh,
Mm,
as always, feel free to pass. But
okay.
yeah, all right, let's do it. Okay, question number 1. So, what is something that well, you mentioned that you live in the Netherlands, live in Amsterdam. What is something that most people don't know about either Amsterdam or the Netherlands?
Hmm. That's an interesting one. Let me see. People don't know. Dutch people are very akin to, I don't know, maybe people know this, they love their cheese, right? Cheese is like really big here. So if you're not been towards this area, you if you have been to the Netherlands, you probably know this fact. But if you haven't, like Sean, you haven't, so I'm telling you.
Yep.
And they're really big, they love cheese, like all kinds of cheese. There's a particular cheese called Gouda. It's a city here.
Mhm. Okay.
So yeah, so it's like a huge thing, but I'm not a fan, unfortunately. I don't like
Have
cheese.
Do you have like a favorite cheese that you've discovered since moving?
I'll say it's the one that I just mentioned, but Gouda. Gouda. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it properly
Okay.
because the Dutch have a specific way of pronouncing things, but that cheese is nice, but I don't like it. I don't like cheese in general, so I might be biased. But
Okay.
I,
Okay.
I think that's one thing. Then another thing that comes to mind is um here you have like really tall people. So I've seen folks that are like 6'11", no 6'9". They're quite tall. I used to think I was tall, but meeting people here, it's like crazy. Yeah.
I love that as a fun fact. I'm like, okay, yeah, you would be able to pick me out because I would be a very short person
Yeah.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
question number 2. What would you say you are most thankful for in your career or grateful for?
First, I'll say friends and people that I've met in the community because I've met a lot of people that are now friends over my years in the tech industry. So I'm thankful for them, people that are always like pushing me to do the stuff that I'm most scared of, like recommending me for stuff, a lot of people have actually pushed me forward, and that's why I'm very big on also helping people as well. So lending a hand, or I don't know how that phrase go, but anyway, yeah, I'm very grateful for people, the the connections that I've made in the industry. Yeah.
That's great. Yes, yes, totally. I think I would give the same answer. That's like, yeah, it's all about the people and pushing each other forward. Okay, question number 3. This is I usually put this at the end, but I thought I
Mhm.
would move it up and try something a little different. I generally call this my second favorite question. It is, what is the worst mistake that you've made as a developer in your career?
Oh, okay. Um, I would have to think about this. I think saying no to good opportunities. This was way early in my career. Like, um, I had a few opportunities that I could have taken on, but because I was scared, I said no to them. And um, now that I think about it, it would have been great if I had accepted them. Like one was giving me a job and I felt like I wasn't qualified, so I said no to it. It happened a couple of times actually, same thing. And yeah, I think if I have to relive that period in my life, I'll just be like, well, gifts, just go ahead. If you fail, you just pick
Go for
yourself up
it.
and go, just go for it, right? So those are like early mistakes that I think I would say I've made. I have not dropped the database yet in my career, so
You are a lucky person. I am amazed. Yes, this is good. Well, maybe you will never will. That'll be amazing. Yeah.
yeah, maybe I won't, and I hope I don't. Yeah, no.
That's great. Okay, so and for question number 4, it's similar to in number 2 said, what are you thankful for? But number 4, so you're a creator. So what thing that you've created are you the most proud of so far?
Hmm. Interesting. Let me see. Uh, Now, this is hard because I generally would say everything, which is not a very great
Okay.
answer. Because there are different things that I've tried. I've tried almost everything, honestly. Right now, I went from like writing blog posts to doing videos to making Instagram reels, TikTok, all of that. I've done pretty much everything a creator can do. And just the goal is just to reach more people, help more people. And some of it ends up going well. Some of it I feel like I don't think I can be consistent with all of it. So I just focus on one. But I think the biggest thing or out of being a creator, specifically in tech, is just helping people. And it's funny because you feel like you make stuff and you post it on the internet, but the amount of people that it reaches, right, overwhelms me sometimes when I hear people from like the other end of the world watching my stuff, right? It's like crazy. So I think regardless is everything that I've done or put out that has helped somebody in one way or another. Yeah, that's what I'm proud of.
Great. Okay, 5th and final question before we
Okay.
wrap up. This one is a 4-parter, so I'm kind of cheating here. And this has made most of the episodes. This was one where I put it in there just kind of on a whim, and have had such interesting answers that it keeps sticking around. So
Okay.
okay, 4-parter. The scenario is you can take anyone you want to lunch. You're going to lunch. A person can be living or dead. And the questions are: 1, who is the person? 2, which restaurant are you going, or where are you going to eat? 3, what is the food that you're going to eat? And 4, what is the topic that you're going to bring up first?
Hmm. Interesting, because I recently talked about having to take someone to a nice restaurant I found here in Amsterdam. So I'll see my friend. She also lives here in the Netherlands, and we are both very interested in eating spicy food. So I recently found unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but it's a Chinese restaurant in the middle of Amsterdam, right? Amsterdam Central. And I went there. I think I find the nicest things by just randomly just strolling. So I was just going over, I don't remember where I was going to, but I found it and I just entered. And they had like their menu feels like it was a book. It was literally a novel. Like their menu, I was so confused. Like when he asked me to order, the waiter kept coming back because I was so indecisive. And what I ended up ordering was so good. I ordered the spicy beef curry, and it came with like this massive, like the platters that they serve. Asian restaurants are known for like large chunks of food. And for
Mhm.
the price, it was also really good. So I thought I would go back there with my friend. So I've answered the question. I'm going there with my friend Blessing. We're having the beef curry, and conversations would be to talk about travel. So recently we've been doing a lot of trips together. So we'll probably talk about where we're going next in Europe, I guess. And also, she's trying to get into tech. So I'm trying to get her into tech. And she applied to
Okay.
master school. So we might probably also talk about that. Yeah.
Amazing. I love that answer for so many reasons. One is that you picked a friend. Usually people pick celebrities that they don't know. And
Oh.
so I like this is great. It plays into, you love helping people, you have these close relationships. And I also love it because you talk about the novel of a menu, and it feels like, oh yes, we were just talking about not being able to choose what to talk about on YouTube. And it's like, oh yes, it's
Yeah.
like the Chinese restaurant menu. Yes.
Yeah, it ties into it. Yeah, it's nice.
Ah, okay, well, that's it for today. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Gift. This was a ton of fun.
Thank you so much for having me. Had nice time. I was also going to throw back the question to you because I'm interested in hearing what your answer to that is.
With the last, the
The
4-parter.
Yeah.
That one, I feel like for me that changes every day. Um, I It's like what would I be feeling today? Nobody ever throws the questions back at me.
uh,
You know, I've recently I've been listening to the Beatles quite a bit, and
nice.
I actually took a course in them when I was in my university days, so many years ago. Um, but I would I feel like I would love to. I could probably pick any one of them to have lunch with, but I think I'm thinking like probably John Lennon. I remember when I was in
Oh,
going through that course at the university that I was like I always seem to like his songs a little bit more than the ones that the other folks wrote. Um, Now, in terms of like where would I take that? I feel like I love trying new things, and I think since I'm in a relatively small city in Cincinnati. We have about 2.5 million people in the surrounding area,
mhm.
and and the pandemic really shook things up quite a bit. And
Yeah.
so there's a lot of restaurants that I love that are still around, but there are a lot that went away, and new ones that popped up. And in having both the pandemic and the little kids at home, I just don't get out as much as I used to. So I feel like I would do a little research. I would find a new restaurant and
Mm.
order. Another thing I really like to do is I like to ask the servers what they recommend, and that doesn't always go well, but
Oh.
it's kind of a fun gamble. So like, yeah, you pick for me. The theme you're getting from me is that I'm very indecisive. So it's like, so yeah, somebody else tell me what to eat, and I'll tell you if
I'll
it's
probably not
interesting.
do that because I'm very sure that it will probably not turn out well. You know.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes. I've had probably more good experiences doing that than bad, because like
Okay.
typically if the server has been there for a while, they've probably, and if it's not a humongous menu, then they've probably tried a good portion of the menu. They like they I feel like are probably going to have some reasonable recommendations. But I've definitely been in a situation where I've done that with someone who was probably either like didn't have the same taste as me, or wasn't working
Yeah.
there super long, and yeah, didn't go so well. But I feel like those experiences have been few and far between. Yeah.
Cool. It's a nice adventure though. You just try stuff you probably no want to try again, or you try stuff you want
Absolutely.
to try again. Yeah.
That's right. Yes. Yes. I really like to like it's a challenge and it's hard to do, but I like to go to restaurants that I love and try to order something that I haven't had before, just to like round it out. But it's really hard because it's like, well, but I know if I get this other thing, it's going to be really good. So I want to get the thing, but sometimes you got to be risky, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Nice, nice. Brian is saying that nobody ever asks you that question. So yeah.
Yeah, you see, you totally stumped me. I'm like, I if I'm gonna ask the questions, I should probably come with a canned answer for me. But yeah, you got me there. So yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Cool.
Okay, so
Yeah.
before we go, I'll just give you one, last minute or two, and you can tell all our listeners and viewers how they can get in touch with you, and feel free to give a quick plug to anything else that you might be working on that we didn't talk about today.
Yeah, sure. I'm currently Laura Gifts underscore or Laura Gift literally everywhere. Gift Egwenu on my YouTube or blog or any of that streamline like LinkedIn things. If you like to find the LinkedIn course also, please check out my LinkedIn profile. Other than that, I'm making a lot of new streams with new people, and I'm looking for guests. Actually, if you like to come on, that's great. But anyone that wants to come on, uh, right now I'm just very open to different kind of topics, tech, great, non-tech, great. Just talk about amazing stuff that people are working on. Yeah. If you like to be a guest, please ping me on Twitter.
Great,
Yeah.
great. We have somebody asking on Twitter again. I think they're probably looking for your what is your actual handle?
Laura Gifts _ So I'll type it in chats. That makes sense.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah.
Okay, and that is and Brian's got it. So yeah, it's for those of you who are listening and not seeing the screen, it's LAURAGIFT_.
Yeah.
Okay, and again, for those of you listening into the recording and not here live, these shows are recorded live on the first and third Thursdays of each month at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, which is 5 p.m. GMT. The shows are then later syndicated on CFE.dev and YouTube in video format and also in audio format wherever you get your podcast. And we're coming close to the end of season 1, so we're going to take a break in September, but we will, before that, we'll be back live on when is it? August 4th with our penultimate, our second to last episode of season 1 with Peter Cooper of Cooper Press. And Cooper Press is this publishing engine that you maybe have never heard of, but is the engine, the brains behind probably at least a few of the developer newsletters that you get in your email inbox each week. Okay, so with that, thank you, Gift. And from all of us at CFE.dev, thank you for joining us for the show, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for having me.